Ishi33, Francois from Interpol,
Yes.
here visiting in DC. And I hear you're going to give a talk this afternoon.
Yes, exactly. I'm here to present a new database that we launched last year, which is dedicated to missing person investigations and missing person identification, but international, which means that when you have a case and you believe the person disappeared in another country, we are the hub, the interface to join countries to help them compare the data and identify missing persons.
So is this a new endeavor at Interpol?
Yes, so we've been doing DNA comparison for almost 20 years now.
Okay.
But kinship matching, it's always more difficult. You know, when you use the relatives, you need to find ways to compare the data. If it's internationally, it's even harder.
Yeah.
So Interpol decided to launch this new database to help countries to compare the family DNA and the dead bodies DNA, and to make matches international and help police in all countries to work together and finally give answers to families.
So is it like a genealogical check, like that's what you're doing? Is it all through genealogy or is it through sampling?
So it's through sampling. So
sampling, okay.
We have a country sending us DNA data from the mother or the father, and we compare it with the DNA from the body. But as you know, for international cooperation, it's always difficult to know where to send the DNA profile to.
Right.
So at Interpol, we centralize everything, we compare the data, we interpret the data, and then we let countries know that there may be a lead, and maybe you should collaborate to formally identify the missing person.
Wow, so how does that connection go? Like you're at Interpol and then you find that there's somebody in Poland that might need to do, you know, an investigation. Who do you call? I mean, do you have like a list of numbers to call for crimes? What do you have?
So the way Interpol works is that we have 195 member countries, so most all the countries in the world, and each country has an Interpol bureau, which is the interface between the national police and Interpol. And so basically they are centralizing the requests, we get the DNA information, we compare it, and then we send back the reply.
Okay, and so at your place, you're actually, do you use any of these products that you've seen here today?
Yes, we do. We mainly do DNA data comparison, so we don't do the DNA analysis, but we sometimes do training. We go to member countries to help them build their national DNA capabilities. So we end up using, you know, and recommending some of the products which we see today.
That's very good. So have you actually helped solve any crimes yet?
So crimes, exactly. So we have probably, I would say, more than 1,000 potential match we found between countries already. And so with the new launch of the DNA database, we can really help a country when they've tried everything nationally to maybe help them compare their data with another country, and this solves many cases.
Okay, so are they coming to you as well? Like, because once you find a match and you're calling Poland, like calling that guy, but sometimes he might need your help and call you, so it kind of goes both ways.
It does, yes. Some countries says, you know, we've tried everything, what can we do? How can you help us reach another country? So we can put them in contact. They can use the Interpol channels, which are secured way to share DNA data or other type of information. We not only do DNA, but we do fingerprint, face recognition.
Oh, wow.
We have many capabilities that we offer to countries, so we encourage them to use them and solve crimes internationally.
That's impressive. So what is your function there? What is your job?
So I am the DNA database manager for Interpol. So I basically deal with all the requests from the countries. I deal with the DNA comparison, and then I update the countries when there is a potential match, and then helping them to build their capabilities and be the interface between countries to help them share data.
So do you have to travel to these other places and have interactions with them?
Actually, so that was funny because I was recruited in January 2020. And then COVID struck. And,
I remember that.
I didn't travel for quite a while. Now
that stopped too.
Are starting again, and I'm looking forward to meet, you know, all my colleagues in the world and help them to use Interpol capabilities.
Yeah, so now you can have those actual conversations instead of having them over like a Teams meeting.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean,
you're showing them like your DNA over the...
Yes.
It just doesn't work electronically.
Always better in person, and we can, you know, solve more crimes together when we are seeing each other.
That's exciting. So do you personally get to find out, in the end, did you catch a bad guy, right? Like, does that information then come back to you and you learn about the case, or are you kind of like, well, I hope I helped, but...
It's always tricky. Like, you know, at the national level, sometimes I used to work in the French forensic police before. And in the lab, we didn't really have any feedback a lot of the time, except on very specific cases. So internationally, it's even harder to get some reply. We're trying to get some feedback. We get sometimes like happy emails about countries saying, well, we'll solve this 20-year-old case thanks to
Oh,
your help.
neat.
So it's very helping us to go forward and propose new capabilities to help the member countries.
Right. That's got to feel good to be like that people helping people
Yes.
kind of person,
Exactly.
knowing that you're, helping loved ones find, deceased family members or
Exactly. And
solving crimes.
I
That's
believe
amazing.
that the countries should do everything in their power to
Yeah.
solve missing person cases. And when you've tried everything in your country, you need to think about the international part and
Yeah.
maybe find information in another country that you didn't really think of.
Yeah.
So we are there to bridge the gap that exists between countries and help them communicate better, check
Yeah.
their DNA data, for example, and
Yeah.
solve information.
Yeah, I think I was at an issue one time, and they were talking about the Golden State Killer, right? And so he was murdering people in different states,
course.
but those states didn't even talk to one another,
Right.
right? So we've grown to know that that's more important. So now we're just on an international level.
It is, yeah,
And-
and,
and helping
people
out.
travel a lot now.
Yeah.
There is no boundaries really
Mm-hmm.
physically anymore. Therefore, the international context is very important.
Yeah.
And when everything has been done nationally, you need to think about international.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds really, really interesting, and I'm really glad that you're here to share that with us. And what's your talk going to be specifically about?
So the idea is to promote Interpol because I believe
Okay.
that not a lot of people know about Interpol
Yeah.
and know what we can do, and especially when you know that each country is paying some collaborative fees to Interpol
Okay, right.
to allow their nationals to get the capabilities available. Everything has been paid for by the US, so
Yeah.
I'm there to say, look, you have these tools available, please use them and help us solving crime internationally.
That's excellent. Well, good luck with your talk.
Thank you very much.
It was so nice meeting you. That was very interesting.
Thank you for welcoming me.
Yeah, absolutely. And will I see you at issue 34?
Hope so.
Hope so too. All right.
Definitely.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.